Okay, whenever you're ready, gentlemen.
Montezuma's Temple. Montezuma was born in Tenochtitlan in 1466, which is now Mexico City. He was well educated in religion, science, and art, and became a chief priest. When his uncle died, he became the head of the army and ruler of the Aztec nation in 1502. Montezuma was also very superstitious and believed that by offering the war god Tipsu sacrificial victims that the god would help him win wars. These victims were prisoners of war, and then when he needed more sacrifices, he used his own people. Montezuma was known to have a pyramid, and by the time Cortez had sacrificed up to 10,000 people a year in the temple at the top of the pyramid. And by the time Cortez arrived, there were 50,000 sacrifices a year. Some of the sacrifices were dedicated each month to other gods, such as the maize god and goddess, the salt goddess, and the rain god, Talek. The temple where these victims were sacrificed was built on top of the pyramid when the pyramid was expanded in 1487, and the celebration of this temple involved so much bloodshed that the line of sacrifices stretched far out of the city, and the bloodshed lasted for 4 days. The red temple was dedicated to the war god Hitsu, and the blue temple to the rain god Telak.
The temple. Cortez arrived in 1519 with 600 men, 16 horses, and 20 guns. Battles began immediately, but along the way, Spanish make allies of those who are opposed to the Aztecs. At the same time, Montezuma was expecting the return of the god
Quetzalcoatl.
who was supposed to be a fair-skinned and bearded. So when Cortez arrived, he was welcomed, believed to be the returning god Quetzalcoatl, because Cortez looked so much like him. Cortez took advantage of this and used Montezuma to control and later conquer the city. Legend has two different stories on how Montezuma was killed. He was either stoned by his own people or stabbed by Spanish conquistadors, depending on who was telling the story. The Spanish destroyed artifacts and structures in search of gold and silver, and also because of the paganism that these symbols stood for. Not much of the temple is left today.
Okay.
This is the log. Day 1.
Oh, we don't need you to read the log.
Oh, no log? Okay.
Tell us about how you made your project.
You sugar cube?
Connor made this sugar cube tower castle thing, and then he also put up these trees. I used this from a Christmas tree, and same with those: moss, rocks, hot glue, and coffee beans.
Oh, you used coffee beans?
Yeah, and we also used a cut out a piece of paper and just glued it on the back to make it look like it's on top of the mountain.
Oh, okay. Any other questions? Who tells, who says that Montezuma was stoned to death by his own people, and who says that he was killed by conquistadors? Do you know which group tells which story?
No, but I'd imagine that the Spanish would say the Indians killed him, and the Indians would say the Spanish killed him.
You are correct.
So they had up to 50,000 sacrifices a year?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot every day.
Yeah,
So
terrible.
50,000. And he thought he was pleasing his gods with that, right?
Yeah.
That's why he was doing that.
Any other questions? Very good, gentlemen. Excellent.
Picture